Mangwana ni mwalelepo vukenjani kekwas vanave Africa. Welcome to Africa Good Morning, the news and current affairs show bringing you everything you need to know happening on the African continent and beyond. You are joined by Ashwin Berry on Friday, the 18th of October. These are some of the stories that we are looking at today. Nigeria launches a new malaria vaccine that will be freely administered to recipients. Kenya Deputy President in hospital, and that was ahead of the impeachment vote. And Mali's Junta Chief elevates himself to the top army rank. Please follow all our programs on oneup2.com, DSTV 285 and GoTV 25 in Namibia. We'll also have news stories from Mike Sichula in Zambia and Rorisang Mogojwe in Botswana. This is Africa Good Morning. Top stories shortly.
Neopaints has established a 67-year Namibian legacy, creating personalized paint solutions that blend quality and innovation for the Namibian people. We pride ourselves in being a 100% Namibian-owned company, investing in our country and our people by employing and empowering true Namibians. With every brushstroke, Neopaints commits to our quality guarantee and always delivering a coat of excellence. At Neopaints, we always stay true to our country. We are as Namibian as you.
Let's get into the top stories on Africa Good Morning. Nigeria launched a new malaria vaccine yesterday that will be freely administered to recipients. Let's have a look.
Nigeria launched a new malaria vaccine on earlier today that will be freely administered to recipients, its health minister said, marking a significant milestone in its fight against the deadly disease. The launch makes the country one of the first in the world to back the new R21 vaccine, developed by scientists at Oxford University and made by the Serum Institute of India and Novavax. The vaccine was provisionally approved by Nigeria's medicines regulator in April last year. Health Minister Muhammad Ali Pate said Nigeria had received 846,200 doses of the vaccine, procured in partnership with global vaccine group Gavi, the Vaccine Alliance and UNICEF. A balance of 153,800 more doses is expected on 26 October to make it 1 million. The vaccines are not enough, so in the context that they are not enough but free, I want to encourage all well-meaning Nigerians to take advantage of the limited availability and make their wards available to be administered, and protected Pate told reporters at the launch in the capital Abuja. The rollout will start with 2 pilot states of Kebbi in the north and Bayelsa on the coast, ahead of a national rollout.
Kenyan Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua failed to appear in the Senate to testify at his impeachment trial, with his lawyer saying that he has been taken ill. The Deputy President, who was present in the House in the morning, had been due to appear from 14:30 local time to defend himself before a vote was due on Thursday evening about whether to remove him from office or not. The sad reality is that the Deputy President of the Republic of Kenya has been sick, very sick, and is in hospital, said his lawyer Paul Mwite. Sittings were suspended until 5 p.m. Speaker of Parliament Amason Kingi said they were expecting the Deputy President to take the witness stand then. This is a time-bound process, unfortunately, he said. The impeachment trial cannot be legally extended beyond Friday. The Speaker said the case would then proceed without him, or for exceptional reasons he could appear later, citing a rule of the trial procedures. The head of the military junta that seized power in Mali in 2020 promoted himself on Wednesday to the rank of Army General with the special title Colonel Assimi Goita of the Land Army, the highest military distinction held only by 2 former heads of state in the country's history. The move by Goita is a sign that he has no intention of ceding power to civilians in the landlocked West African country. The announcement was made by the Council of Ministers, which published a statement on the website of the Malian government's General Secretariat. 5 other highly influential colonels of the Malian military junta were also promoted exceptionally to the rank of 4-star generals. This is another indication that junta leaders will continue to position themselves as the only rulers and have no intention of having a democratic transition into civilian rule anytime soon, said Rida Layamori, a senior fellow at the Morocco-based Policy Center for the New South. No date has yet been set for Mali's presidential election. And Greenpeace Africa welcomes the Democratic Republic of Congo government's decision to halt the bidding process of 27 oil blocks. This move is a crucial advancement for environmental protection and climate justice throughout Africa. Nevertheless, this reprieve may be short-lived, as the Ministry of Hydrocarbons has hinted in a press release that it plans to resume the process without delay. Greenpeace Africa remains committed to continuing its advocacy efforts while maintaining a constructive dialogue with the Congolese government, aiming to ensure that this recent decision genuinely signifies the end of the oil block bidding in the DRC. The Ministry of Hydrocarbons has announced the cancellation of the tenders, a decision driven by significant public backlash and the concerns voiced by environmental groups regarding the potential negative impact on biodiversity, local communities, and global climate. Those have been our top stories on Africa. Good morning. After the break, we get into news stories from Zambia and Botswana.
E-Ticket, your online ticket solution for events and event marketing, bringing you ease of mind and making sure that your event gets out there. For more information, contact events@nmh.com.na.
Now, our two correspondents from Zambia and Botswana, Sichula and Rorisang Mogojwe, respectively, cannot make it to the show today. They have, however, stayed committed to the show by sending us through their stories, which are the latest news stories from Zambia and Botswana. And I certainly look forward to saying Muribanji, to Mike and Dumelang, to Rorisang next week. But for now, let's get into the stories delivered by them. We'll start off with Mike's stories from Zambia. Zambia and the United States have signed a $491 million grant farm to market compact aimed at strengthening the agriculture sector. The second compact has been signed by the two countries through the Millennium Challenge Corporation. Speaking at the signing ceremony in Lusaka yesterday, President Hakainde Hichilema said his administration has worked hard to ensure the MCC board approves the support in record time. President Hichilema said the grant will help in lowering the cost of transporting goods to markets, increasing the availability of equipment for farmer and processors, boosting financing for infrastructure projects, and catalyzing reforms in the agriculture sector to grow private investment. In Mike's other story, President Hakainde Hichilema is in the Copperbelt province for a 2-day working visit. Yesterday, he met church leaders of Pentecostal churches in Kitwe. Today, he will officiate at the National Day of Prayer, Fasting, Repentance and Reconciliation, which will be held at Nkana Stadium in Kitwe. The theme for this year's Day of Prayer and Fasting is Building Resilience, Unity and Hard Work Through Prayer, Our Heritage, Our Future. Some opposition political leaders, who include former President Edgar Lungu, are expected to observe the Day of Prayer among other political figures. While in opposition, President Hakainde Hichilema was a strong critic of the Day of Prayer, keeping in mind Zambia is constitutionally a Christian nation. Hence the significance of the Day of Prayer. Now, in the last of Mike Sichula's stories, Zambia will soon have a thermal plant to produce energy from waste and feed into the national grid in a bid to increase energy efficiency in the country. The project, to be funded by the Bank of China, will be implemented after the signing of a memorandum of understanding between the Zambian and Chinese governments. The initiative was born after the Zambian team attended a seminar on solid waste management, prevention and control technologies at the Biogas Institute of Ministry of Agriculture and Rural Affairs in China under the exchange programs offered by the Chinese Ministry of Commerce. We're going to take a quick break before we return with news stories from Botswana by Rorisang Mogojwe.
Neo Paints has established a 67-year Namibian legacy, creating personalized paint solutions that blend quality and innovation for the Namibian people. We pride ourselves in being a 100% Namibian-owned company, investing in our country and our people by employing and empowering true Namibians. With every brushstroke, Neo Paints commits to our quality guarantee and always delivering a coat of excellence. At Neo Paints, we always stay true to our country. We are as Namibian as you.
These are the latest news stories stemming from Botswana, sent through by Rorisang Mogojwe. Botswana living abroad, election officials, police officers and members of the army will cast their votes this Saturday ahead of the country's general election scheduled for October 30, 2024. Independent Electoral Commission Secretary Jeff Siamisang explained that this early voting is in line with constitutional provisions, allowing advance voting for those who will be deployed outside their polling districts on election day. A total of 1,038,275 people are registered to vote in the upcoming elections, an increase of 112,800 from the 2019 elections. This year, there are also 2,032 diaspora voters participating in the election. Let's talk more about Botswana's general elections in our second story, which are scheduled for October 30, 2024, and will be closely monitored by both the Southern African Development Community and the African Union, with each organization deploying an election observation mission to ensure a transparent and credible process. The elections will determine the country's 13th parliament and elect representatives to local councils. SADC has confirmed that it will deploy its electoral observation mission to monitor the general election scheduled for October 30, 2024. Now, in the next update, Minister of Finance Peggy Serame has revealed that more than 8 billion pula, the equivalent of $600 million US, has been spent on water projects across the southern parts of Botswana. The Ministry of Lands and Water has been the leading spender among government departments, directing significant resources towards addressing water infrastructure needs. Meanwhile, in a cost-cutting move, the Attorney General has suspended funding for external travel of public service employees unless deemed critically necessary. Now, in a rather disturbing update, police have expressed concern over a recent spike in murder-suicide cases, commonly referred to as passion killings, which have claimed the lives of 3 women in Mahun within a week. I believe the modern term, the more correct term, is femicide. 2 of the male suspects have taken their own lives, while a 3rd man survived a suicide attempt after being rescued by police. In the first incident on October 10, a 23-year-old man fatally stabbed a 17-year-old girl before fleeing the scene. She was later pronounced dead at Leso Tsalebe 2 Memorial Hospital. The man was later found hanging at his home, and police recovered a blood-stained knife believed to be the murder weapon. The 2 had reportedly been involved in a dispute over a borrowed cell phone. A rather harrowing story, but we are grateful to Rorisang Mogojwe for bringing us the news stories as they are from Botswana. Let's have a look at the weather predictions before we head into economic news. Growth is expected to spike in approximately 60% of sub-Saharan African nations by 2024, according to a report by the World Bank. Given the growth prospects in Africa's economy, the Africa Pulse study observed that East Africa remains the sub-region with the greatest economic performance on the continent. According to the report by the World Bank, the Eastern and Southern Africa sub-region's economy is expected to grow from 1.7% in 2023 to 2.2% in 2024, and then reach a 3.9% rise in 2025 to 2026, with a growth rate of 4.7% in 2024 and an anticipated rate of 5.7% in 2025 to 2026. The East African community outperformed other African sub-regions. The countries that contributed most to the East African community's growth performance were Kenya, Rwanda, Tanzania, and Uganda. Kenya's economy alone is projected to rise to 5% in 2024 and 5.1% in 2025 to 2026. Let's have a look at the economic indicators before we swing into the sport. All right, let's get into the sport news on Africa. Good morning. South Africa delivered an incredible performance in Dubai, defeating defending champions Australia to secure a place in the ICC Women's T20 World Cup 2024 final on Sunday. Annika Bosch starred with an outstanding unbeaten 74 runs, propelling South Africa past the tournament favourites and into the final. After restricting Australia to 134 for 5 in the first innings, South Africa's battle lineup showcased their prowess at the Dubai International Cricket Stadium, with captain Laura Wolvaardt scoring 42 of 37 balls and opening partner Tazim Brits contributing 15 from 15. Bosch's explosive 74 runs of 48 balls effectively dismantled the Australian bowling attack, easing any tension even after Wolvaardt was dismissed with 15 runs needed. Ultimately, Bosch hit the winning runs, igniting celebrations among the South African fans in Dubai. Now, starting next season, Formula One will eliminate the bonus point for the driver who records the fastest lap in a Grand Prix, the FIA announced yesterday. This rule, in effect since 2019, granted an extra point if the driver finished within the top 10, a factor that could have influenced the competitive landscape in the 24-race season of 2024. Now, the FIA revealed that the World Motorsport Council approved changes to the sporting and technical regulations for 2024 and 2025 during a meeting in Paris and via video conference just ahead of the US Grand Prix in Austin. Now, the English Premier League is back this weekend. We're going to have a look at the leaders table before we get into the fixtures as well as the upcoming fixtures for the leading teams. All right, top 5 right now. Liverpool at the top, followed by Man City, Arsenal, Chelsea, Aston Villa. Man City and Arsenal just 1 point behind Liverpool's 18. Chelsea and Aston Villa sitting on 14 points. These are the matches this weekend: Spurs versus West Ham, Fulham, Aston Villa, Ipswich, Everton, Man United, Brentford, Newcastle, Brighton, Southampton, Leicester, Bournemouth, Arsenal, Wolves, Man City, Liverpool, Chelsea, Nottingham Forest versus Crystal Palace. Admittedly, Liverpool, Chelsea being the game of the weekend. And these are the next fixtures for Liverpool. They will face Chelsea, Arsenal, Brighton, Aston Villa and Southampton. As for Manchester City, it is Wolves, Southampton, Bournemouth, Brighton and Tottenham. Some interesting fixtures there for the current reigning champions, Manchester City. For Arsenal, it is Bournemouth, it is Liverpool, Newcastle, Chelsea and Nottingham Forest. Some tough times ahead for the Gunners. Let's see if they can keep up the pace. And then having a look at Chelsea, it is Liverpool, Newcastle, Manchester United, Arsenal and Leicester. Oh my goodness, looks like Chelsea might have the toughest draw of the top clubs. Those have been our sports stories on Africa Good Morning. Let's take a quick break before we return with your highlights.
E-Ticket, your online ticket solution for events and event marketing, bringing you ease of mind and making sure that your event gets out there. For more information, contact events@nmh.com.na.
Thank you for staying with Africa Good Morning, not just today, but throughout the week, as we've been bringing you the pertinent stories stemming from the African continent and beyond. Let's have a look at the highlights from this morning's broadcast. Kenya Deputy President in hospital ahead of impeachment vote, which did go ahead. Mali's Junta Chief elevates himself to the top army rank. East Africa leads economic recovery in Africa. DSTV 285, Core TV 25, OneUp2.com, Network Media Hub on YouTube, NTV on Instagram. There's really no way where you can't find us. Thank you for staying with Africa Good Morning. We'll be looking forward to seeing you next week. But before that, from me and the Africa Good Morning team, Swera Jakanaka.